To y'all. I'm gonna make this quick. Let's figure out go live with y'all real quick or whatever. I'm gonna start off from the top here because I saw a video and I had to post it earlier, and I know you guys checked it out by now. I can tell by the views on it. The video kind of disturbed me, so I tried to get some details for it. I tried to get as many details as I possibly could. And some of the details, they're kind of a little skirmish, but I found out exactly what was going on. So evidently there was some type of dispute or another. I don't know what type of dispute exactly it was. I don't really care what type of dispute it actually was. It really doesn't matter to me. But it was more so that little skirmish that they did have. Hey, what's going on, Lexi? How you doing? Somehow or another, this guy ended up on the ground, bloodied up, and everything that y'all see in the video is an example of what happened to him for I guess maybe 4 or 5 guys. Okay, so they all jumped on this guy. And what I found out was it was some type of dispute that had to do with either a property he owned and rented, or maybe somehow or another was subleasing some of the apartments inside or whatever. But whatever the case may be, it's definitely skimmed from what I'm believing is some type of rental disagreement or something like that or whatever. You know, you have to be very careful in these days. Many people know, even with my small development company, we haven't erected anything yet. Like, I'll be honest with you, we haven't put up one property yet, but it exists. And one of the things that I've learned so far is when you're in this type of like subleasing thing or whatever, it gets real messy. A lot of people, they don't want to pay you. A lot of times you get, screwed over or whatever the case may be. So I'm guessing that's what happened here. Somehow or another, there was a dispute. The dispute led out into Buckshot happened to get some interaction with the cops involved. And I think the reason he had the interaction with the cops involved was basically this is how you handle situations like that. I mean, you can't go to the guys or whatever, even as much as you want to do. You can't go to the guys necessarily and just, start wailing on them and beating them up. You can't do that in every situation. Sometimes it takes that interference, and you have to have that interference to protect yourself. And I think that's what he did as a landlord. So I'm going to set up, if you guys haven't seen it, the video is actually down below. You guys can go check it out for yourself or whatever and come back. I composed it to only about a minute long, so you're able to watch the video really quickly or whatever, get what your premise is out of it, come back and then, give your report on it or whatever. But the way they beat him down, it kind of set the wrong way with me. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like, what I saw in that video made me like sick to my freaking stomach. I mean, it was just like his eye was bloodied, his mouth was bloodied. He was really beat down to the point where he was keeling over and he couldn't even like sit up. And I see a guy that was standing by him, and I think that guy was standing by him because guys like that from Brooklyn be like, nah, just leave me alone for a minute, let me get up. I know the guys, you know what I mean? So old school Brooklyn cat like that, that's how they handle it. Nah, let me get myself together, let me sit down for a second, I'm gonna get it right, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure that's not the first skirmish he got into. Now, with that being said, I want to say this shit right here. Buckshot, I understand you made a statement. You said the police are involved and they're going to be investigating and everything like that. There's a few of us that don't even take that as a realistic option. And I understand that. But I think this sudden disrespect of guys like that, of that core, of that tier that have been out here for a very long time, I think at this point, I think it's sad to say that we have guys out here that feel that they can go to that distinction when dealing with somebody like this. Now, I heard him mention in the video, he says, everybody knows who I am. Well, of course they know who he is because the guy's been performing for over almost 25 years. Huh? So, I mean, it's not hard to know who this guy is. Everybody knows who he is. He's an international star at this point. He's performed everywhere you can think of. And so I would think with that kind of motivation just alone, people would start getting to the point of, hey, you know what, maybe this is not the best option to do right here at this point. And what surprised me even more, I don't know exactly the area this happened at down there in Brooklyn. I'm going to find out. I've been making a few little inquiries amongst the day since I saw it this morning. Somebody had hit me with it, and they was like, yo, listen, check this out. And I was like, okay. So I checked it out. I was like, whoa. Because of the way I edited the video, you guys know I have my editing style now. The way I edited the video, I just wanted to get through. It's actually more to it. That's what I'm saying. But I wanted to edit it like that because I wanted you to see basically what happened to him versus also what initially happened with Buckshot when he was walking behind the guy. Now I will say this: Buckshot kind of egged the guy on a little bit or whatever, and what I mean by that is don't start following the dude. You know, like I learned not to do that too because some people, like if you start following them and everything like that, it can turn into something else. And if you are gonna follow behind them, keep your distance, you know. And I think what Buckshot did was he kept following behind old boy. And then at one point in the video, there's an old woman there, and I'm not sure if she had anything to do with it or not. I can't tell if the assailant is black or Latino either, which is another thing that I want to know. But Buckshot subsequently after that was attacked. His eye was bludgeoned. His he looked bad shape there. And his stomach was kicked in a couple times. I mean, these guys did a wallop on him, you know, to the point where he went to the hospital. He was so hurt, and I just pains my heart to see one of our hip hop legends being handled in such a rough and atrocious way like that. Like I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's how you do one of the legends. So anybody can get it, you know what I'm saying? I guess that's the mantra now with a lot of the urban community. And it's funny because I just mentioned this yesterday that there's a lot of people. What's going on, brother? It was a situation I had up at Trump Tower. Well, actually two situations I had up at Trump Tower. And one person questioned me. He said, "Oh, well, why are you going to?" Because listen, I'm at Trump Tower. That's why. Think I'm gonna go to first of all, like not to twitch on nobody, but listen, nobody was out there, and seemingly everybody said nobody helped Buckshot. He was on his own. You understand what I'm saying? This is where's the culture? You see what I'm saying? To be quite honest with you, niggas should be tearing up Brooklyn right now, trying to find out what happened, how it happened, and everything else. And I'm sure there's people happily adapted to that, but I think this the town itself should be on alert. Like, who are these motherfuckers? You know, and so I tell people all the time, you have to be careful because I heard what the dude said to him. He called Buckshot a snitch. And I said, well, how is he a snitch if he's just handling business? And then to be quite honest with you, if you're gonna jump on him, how come you gotta jump on Tekashi 6ix9ine? Huh? See, I can think of a lot of people that's down there in that area that you could have took that frustration on. You took that frustration out on that guy because he appeared small to you. And I think that's really what the issue is here. And if guys, you don't know what I'm talking about the all infamous Buckshot Shorty from Boot Camp Click that all of us know from the hits, from All Right, I Got Your Mind Open, you know, Buck 'em Down, all those tunes that we loved as we were coming up or whatever and listened to or whatever when we was doing our thing on a bit of that, you know what I mean? So I'm of course gonna say something about it, you know what I'm saying? We love Buckshot Shorty, you know? But we gotta do something more better than this. And I don't want to get into one of those conversations. Really, honestly and truthfully, I think motherfuckers should get in the hellhound and go take a tougher walk around the town, you know? That's the way I look at it, but yeah. You know what I'm saying, guys? Yeah. You know, in today's standards, you don't know what you could do, you know? So I'll say this to you guys. If I really thought about it, I would say that whatever these guys got coming to them is going to happen to them. If whether it's judicially or whether it's in the streets, one of the two. But I want to say this, man. Stop putting your hands on these guys. Buckshot Shorty, 49 years old, man. And he don't work out. You understand? And for a lot of you older performers or whatever, it's a different game out here. You got to work out, dog. Go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? Do some sit-ups in the house. Do something. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to be on alert out here. You got a lot of people out here that think they're untouchable. It's not a lot of fear out here like it used to be. And so a lot of people that used to be very timid to do certain things or whatever, they're not timid anymore. And they will do things to you if you allow it. So, you know, you got to be on cue. And also be ready to present a situation, you know, like, if you saw I carried myself when I was up at Trump Tower and I had to deal with what I had to deal with, I'm not going to argue with you in front of Trump Tower. I'm not going to act like a doofy with this guy that obviously was up there, because I'd never seen those guys up there. He was obviously up there to cause a commotion. You know, he was running in the streets, as you guys saw on the camera, with the sign. It was just one sign. And I'm going to tell y'all something about that in a minute too, what I found out about those guys up there later on. But I just say this, Buckshot Shorty, get better, get well. I wanted to make sure I said a couple words for you personally myself, just to commend you and just to let everybody know that we love you as a hip hop artist, as someone. All right, brother, you all right? As a hip hop artist and as well as everything else. And I also wanted to say that we want to commend you as far as being a part of hip hop for so long, you know. So yeah, excuse me. When I hear somebody like this jumping on one of our hip hop legends the way they did, it really bothers me. You know what I'm saying? And like, I don't know, like, do she need a horn to be blown? Do y'all now realize it's a different day out here? We have to adapt. And I'm gonna do my part. You know what I'm saying? I've got a lot of things that I'm working on, as many of you guys know that watch me internally that know me. We got a lot of things in the mix right now. And so I present a lot of those things here on camera, a lot of those things I don't present here on camera, as you guys know. But, boy, don't know, rather. I will say this. And this is the best way I can say it without being an obnoxious jerk about it. I mentioned to you guys several times now that there's a partition of men that have been raised by women. They have been so raised by women that in fact their emotions are like women. And so they react like women. Now, you may not know what I mean by that, but I'm going to explain to you what I mean. One more time. This guy followed behind, well, Buckshot followed behind, I'm going to be honest about it, after he called the guy snitch for a rental disagreement in a property that this man owns. This man has busted his butt for I don't know how many years, entertaining us and everything else or whatever, so I want you to keep that in mind, not only nationally, but internationally. Now, this is the thing, yeah, hopefully they will get caught. Shout out to Lil Smoochie. The funny thing about it is like, this was his property. So what do you want him to do? You want him to go there with a shotgun in his hand and say, hey, listen, you're going to give me the rent or whatever the case may be. No, they don't do things like that. So you have to facilitate it through a judicial process. So based on that, and based on the accord of how this gentleman or his friends take it, see, this is the thing. These guys don't know how to separate judicial and street justice. See, street justice is like this. Remember that story about the guy out there in Queens that was the immigrant guy that sexually assaulted a little 14-year-old girl, and then the guys out there, whatever, they grabbed his ass up, tied his legs to his feet, and they beat the crap out of him until the police showed up. See, that's street justice. Now, and that is applicable. You touched the little girl, and we whooped your ass. I told you before, only thing I was mad about, they called the police too soon. Y'all should have at least handled them for another hour. Shout out to those Dominican guys out there and those Puerto Rican dudes that held them there. I said it a million times, I'll say it again. That's how you handle that. Had we been in the islands, which that man was from, that's exactly how they would have handled it. To be quite honest with you. So, I think it might be have to do the same thing applicable to a lot of these guys. So I'll reach back to what I said before. A lot of these guys out here have been raised by women. They ain't had no uncle to throw a football with. They ain't had no daddy. They ain't had no cousins that were older than them, or none of that. They've been raised by women. Okay? So being that they've been raised by women, and many times these women have sisters, and they have a whole bunch of girls around them, predominantly most of their life, they have a lot of reactions and emotions like women. I don't know why y'all don't get this. This is a psychological. You understand what I'm saying? This is a psychological psychoanalysis of the situation. So I just hope that more of you men that are out here that are emotional like the way y'all are nowadays, and I'm not talking about emotional being that you're protecting yourself. I'm talking about emotional and the fact of, yo, nigga, who you talking to like that, nigga? Oh, no, nigga. You know what I'm saying? The black and Spanish dudes. Like, I tell you all the time, black and Spanish dudes have a, not all, of course, but a good, let's say like 45 to 60% of the day passing have a thing of like staring each other down or whatever, where you won't do that with any other race. You get in front of another race, hey, how you doing, Bob? Oh, good to see you. Like, they'll almost acquiesce their whole personality. This is why when you guys see me, it doesn't matter if I'm at the courthouse, I'm covering the Jonathan Majors case, whatever I'm covering, I'm always the same person. All those guys, hold on one second, guys, because I don't think you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me better now? Is that better? Got you. So, I'm sorry, I still had the Bluetooth on. Well, I'm covering the Jonathan Majors case. I'm covering the two Trump trials. Well, I'm covering all three of Diddy's. Like, I'm always the same person. And the reason I'm the same person because, I don't know, here in Connecticut, where I've spent most of my life, like people, especially out on the shoreline where I was at, they more respect you when you get self. When you try this whole brown nosing thing or whatever, and especially from a mostly urban environment, people pick up on it real quick. Or you're acquiescing your voice so you can fit in. You understand? I don't like brown noses. I don't like shoe shiners. I say it all the time on here. You understand what I'm saying? I don't like people like that. People like that are dangerous because when you get shoe shiners, brown noses, tap dancers in any room, they're going to frustrate the room sooner or later because of their energy. Their energy is ambition. You understand? So I don't know what kind of ambition these guys had, whether it was, hey, we beat up this guy or whatever the case may be, or what kind of ambitions collectively a lot of these youth that have been raised by women have. But whatever it is, it's freaking violent. And when you mix that into the T sector, and you mix that in with trap hip hop, you mix that in with Latin trap, you mix that in with dembow. Entonces, sabe, para la gente latino ahí, entonces sabe la música, la fuego. So, you know, like when you mix all that shit in, you get a clusterfuck. That's what you get. You understand what I'm saying? 203, baby, 860. You already know what it is. What's happening? 860 first time, 203 now. You already know. That's what the people in the chat room. CT, you already know, baby. Shout out for Trump, please. Now, I don't shout out nobody, but yeah, he won. I ain't shout. If Kamala would have won, I wouldn't have shouted her out. Bro, let's go. Trump, he risked your life for your lip. I don't know what the fuck that is, but I don't like how you talking, so I'm gonna get you out of here. Some motherfucker talking about he risked his life. Some dude talking about what my bitch ass got to say now. Nigga, we ain't here talking about Buckshot, Shorty. Get your goofy ass out of here. It's always some men in here. See what I mean? That's what I talk about. I try to tell you all the time. There's a lot of men out here ain't never been around no other men. They just been around women all their life. What you say now, girl? Y'all see him in the chat, right? Make sure y'all hit up that cash app, support this channel here. We did a live direct yesterday from Trump Tower. Went out there. Now let me tell you about those guys yesterday from Trump Tower. Let me talk about that real quick since we're gonna segue on the Trump. Buckshot, Shorty, I hope you get well soon. I hope they catch those individuals that did what they did to you. Shout out to Brooklyn. Love everybody down there. Y'all already know. Capital 2 times. Anyway, listen. Shout out to Sumner. Shout out to Marcy. Shout out to Gates. I already know the vibes. Listen, yesterday I was at Trump Tower. As many of y'all know, y'all saw the live. We did 33,000 views by the time we were finished. Right? And the reason I was there is, of course, mostly y'all know, I've covered stuff up at Trump Tower now over, I don't know, we're talking the past 4.5, 5 years. I think I was up there for, what's the name? Amen to that, definitely. And so yesterday when I was up there, y'all saw something irregular that y'all hadn't seen before, which I had one, but not two gentlemen trying to interrupt what I was doing. And I think those two gentlemen that were up there trying to interrupt what I was doing, they were Trump supporters, or either at the very least, they were happy that Kamala lost, right? Is that fair, guys? So I was like, okay, Phil, how you feel, man? I even joked with one of them a little bit, which you guys didn't see. This was partial to me starting to film. And so as I'm sitting there, and I guess he felt he was comfortable with me right now, or whatever the case may be, or whatever, he decided to come towards me with his sign that said F Kamala. And I'm like, the whole time I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, you can't flash it up on my camera. You know what I mean? Like if you're in the background or something like that and it catches it, and you guys saw this, and I said it to him very nicely. And so this guy, he decided, I'm just giving y'all a recap if you wasn't there. This guy, he decided he was going to get mad and all that, and he was going to do it again. And this time he was going to stand behind me like I was a sucker. So I said to myself, I said, look, Bob, you're doing too much now. I'm not disrespecting you, so you're not going to disrespect me. You understand? And I kept my composure as much as I could, because I had to realize there's Secret Service out here, there's NSA out here, there's regular cops out here. These cops have seen me for the past 5 years. They allow me to do certain things that other people can't do up there. Thank God that I was introduced from a gentleman from the NSA to be able to do what I was doing, a black gentleman out of DC. So I'm not going to mess that up for this one little moment with you, especially in all the other places I'm at, that, as obviously as you guys know, like the courthouse and the privilege I get of being in the press area and stuff. I'm not going to mess that up, you know? And so I had to make a decision. And so some people got upset with me when they said, well, I said, well, listen, I'm going to go get one of the what's-the-name people, because this guy's not press, obviously. None of the press, listen, press people, when we're down there, we don't have signs that say F Kamala. You know what I mean? Like, that's not press. That's somebody down there with a narrative or an alternative, whatever, thought or whatever, just trying to express themselves to be, most of the time, just seen, which I thought. That wasn't the case. What I found out was, not only was him, but there was 3 or 4 other guys down there. They're actually part of the Proud Boys. So, and the reason I know this is because I ran into them before, and the same thing happened. I was standing out in front, and somehow or another, they initially thought that I was anti-Trump, because I don't know if it was skin color or, you know, whatever it might be. And so I'm standing out there, whatever, and they rolled by in a truck. And I said, well, this is irregular anyway, because people don't ride around in pickup trucks in New York like that. So I'm standing there, and I think it was still on camera. If many of you guys, my old subscribers, remember, this happened maybe like a year ago. And I was standing in front of the building at the time, and it was just appalling, because they rode around like 2 or 3 times. They rode around the first time, I guess they thought I was going to be scared. Then they rode around the second time, thought I was going to be scared. And I'm like, nah, I'm not bothered. You understand what I'm saying? Not bothered by the very least. I'm hard to intimidate. So, what I also peeped yesterday, it was another gentleman. And I think it was a couple other people, to be quite honest with you, that were along with them, that came in front, and he started just profusely staring at what I was saying. And I don't know if he was wondering was I anti-Trump as well, or whatever. Let me tell you guys something real quick, and I'm gonna be quite adamant about this. People's political positions are starting to allow them to do some erratic things. This gentleman started saying, "Fuck you, nigga," to me, after I asked him to move away from me with his sign. I said, sir, I have a whole bunch of subscribers. I have a whole bunch of people that check me, and I always play the part of neutrality. Had a white man said that to him, he wouldn't have had a problem with that. I guarantee you, this Latin man. Had a white man said that to him, this Latin man, and I'm not being racist, I'm half Latin, so how could I be? He wouldn't have said nothing. And he was like, maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm like 3 shades browner than him. You know what I'm saying? He started screaming out, and I know a lot of y'all heard it in the background. I don't know if he was being facetious. I don't know if he was being sarcastic, what he was trying to do. He started screaming out, white power, white power. This is in my video. And I'm like, yo, what are you on? You understand? So I took it with a grain of salt or whatever. He had a guy with him who was late, and I guess after they started hearing my diatribe a little bit, they switched up what they were doing. And subsequently, after he left, there was another guy that came. And he comes and stands right beside me. And I'm sitting in the press area. He's not even supposed to be in the press area, but he snuck his way in there. And so I'm like, okay, cool, you know. And some of them looked at it and, well, that black guy in there, I'm a white man, I know I can get in there. No, you're not supposed to be in here. You're an unaccomplished white man. It's a very big difference. You don't have a press pass. You're not supposed to be behind here. This sigil that's built right here is not meant for you. Yeah? And so, because I don't like a motherfucker that automatically thinks you're better than because of a skin color or some hair. Motherfucker, you don't have a degree. You're not accomplished. You can't write the same thing on your fucking resume as I can. Everything in your mind is imagination. Imagining. And you can go right to the grave imagining if you like, but you're not going to include me in that shit. And so this guy, he comes and he stands right beside me, and I guess he's trying to intimidate me, or I don't know what he was doing. But what I really gathered from it was this, because somebody wrote something in the chat, and when I went back to my chat, I looked at it, and I said, "Oh, you're standing right beside me, huh? Yeah, streets don't have a referee. That's true." So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so you were watching me, you saw me up there, and you decided to come up there? Is that what you mean? You understand what I'm saying? That causes a problem for me. I don't know who said that. Streets don't have a referee. All right, Agent Smith, you got to go further than that. I don't do fake profiles. Um, don't worry about it. I just had to get somebody out of here real quick. We got one guy, Olga, and so this guy literally has created. It takes about the average of 10 to 15 minutes to create a profile. So this mentally ill little man, who's quite pathetic, him and a batch of his subscribers, they create fake profiles and come here and troll or whatever. So we try to get rid of the riffraff as fast as we can, but sometimes it's hard to do. I think about 10 to 15 of them just dropped out right now as I was saying that. Back to the story. Y'all heard me talk to this man, the second guy, and tell him the exact same thing. And like I said, that's the way I'm going to handle that. You understand what I'm saying? I know what I'm dealing with. You guys don't know what you're dealing with because you have never been in these positions. So you say, okay, well, I'm going to handle it the straight way. Why didn't you just go off on him? Why didn't you tell him, yo, the fuck you and the da-da-da-da-da? Somebody wrote that in my chat room. I mean, not my chat room, my comment section. Now, I'm not going to do that up there. I know how to handle myself in those situations. I've been in those situations for well over 20 years around in those crowds, as many of y'all know. And so for me, it was a problem, you know, and I really don't, you know, this is the thing for me, and this might sound a little racist, but it is what it is. If you're an unaccomplished white man, it's nothing that you have to offer to me that makes me want to praise you. You understand what I'm saying? Especially growing up out here in Connecticut, you know very quickly the difference between an unaccomplished white man, which I got the term from a white woman. You know the difference between an unaccomplished white man and an accomplished white man. There's a very street difference. You understand? And so you have a lot of unaccomplished white men that like to run around and they think based off the fact of, let alone they're just a white male, they somehow should be in some steeple in society until they get in front of an accomplished white man. Then they very quickly learn the difference. Y'all see me on camera now squash motherfuckers that, I don't know, like, I'm not, listen, I've worked around Clive and all these guys of a BMG, Interscope, Arista. I've up through 3 distributors. You understand? So I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to be funny, but I know white men bigger than you. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's all usually I have to say, or put my name in Google right now and tell me what comes up, you know, and you're going to see all these places I'm mentioning attached to it. You know, MTV, Hot 97, all this shit. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. You know, I mean, compare your resume to, let's say, God bless his soul, Quincy Jones. Do you equate? You know, compare your resume to Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. I mean, any of these guys I can list that are African-American dudes that are well worth made more than you are. You know, so in this country, it's about who's worth more. You know, so you get little pockets of these men that are like that, bigger but not bigger than Young G. Will you say bigger but not better, Young G? Yeah, bigger and better. I would equate both of them. You know, I get you though, man. So yeah, I don't really have a place in my mind or a place in my heart for people that like have done minimum in life, but yet and still like to walk around and act like they've done big things in life. Like that shit is just like the most delusional part of mental illness you could possibly be in. You know what I'm saying? Like people like that rarely get paid attention to. People like that, they spend most of their life pretending and actually instead of actually doing the work. You know, so I wrote it off as that or whatever. I really don't care. It wasn't a challenge between white men and black men or whatever. But what I will say is this, and I have to say this as being somebody that's constantly in these areas or whatever, we have to be more protective of the spaces that are meant for people like us in media. I'm talking about people that have, you know, the will to articulate or supposed to be in those spaces versus a lot of people that are coming to start confusion. And my prediction is a lot of people, and they make the mistake with me because they see me here on YouTube. So they think, oh, well, I get, no, we're not the same. All right. And I'm not saying that to be cocky either. I'm saying we're not the same because you are not affiliated with anything. You understand? And a lot of people make that mistake and they try to squeeze into spaces or whatever where they're not meant. The last time that you guys saw me and I just did a piece, I think it was, no, actually it was 3 times before that now because I've done like a couple of them now. But I think it was a third arraignment. And then you guys understand. Thank you, Dina. Dina says, I understand the input. The last time I was literally had, what is her name again? Lisa Evers, that's her name. She was right there in the press area with me. I had some person that was behind me that kept banging me in the head with their, what's the name, stick. And I'm like, yo, you're going to get the shot, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Ask me to move over, something like that. But since they wasn't, used to that, I don't know. It just shouldn't have been there. So it was kind of like it was a real big, you know what I'm saying, clusterfuck, to be quite honest with you. And it was a clusterfuck that could have been avoided. You get what I'm saying? So let's stop getting these people that are wahoos like we saw yesterday when I was up at Trump Tower in the spaces with us. They don't belong there. They're going to incite something sooner or later, which leads me to this segue right here. And this is what I want to talk about. There are a lot of people, and I said this yesterday when I was at Trump Tower, there are a lot of people from the Democratic Party or people that just plainly oppose Trump as a whole that are actually really fucking mad right now. And I'm sorry if you only ever heard me curse, I had to curse on that one. I mean, really fucking mad. And these nutty motherfuckers, just like I told you yesterday, are going to start doing a propaganda march. Didn't I tell y'all? And this propaganda march is going to come from all the disgruntled people that were there that wanted to see their candidate win, and their candidate didn't win. And so as an example of that, what you saw was a whole PR stunt. I know this from being around real media as I am all the time, as I was yesterday. You're going to have, and I said that, and maybe some of the people that overheard me may, repeated this or whatever, but you're going to have a partition of people, especially in the next coming weeks, that are being so, and the closer it gets to the inauguration, but you're gonna have a whole bunch of people that, how you mentioned the January 6th, and you saw that and witnessed that, you're now gonna see a repeat, I think, of somewhere in the partition of January 6th. But what you're gonna see is in a partition of people that are disgruntled because Kamala Harris didn't win. And I told you guys this yesterday when I did my piece from Trump Tower. I said, listen, you're going to start hearing more and more mutters of people that are, disgruntled or whatever. Now, we always make this separation. We say, well, all the wahoos and everything else or whatever are just in the the Republican Party. No, most of the wahoos nowadays are fucking liberals and woke people. The majority of them. And most of them come from that point because most of the time those blue-collar individuals, I hate to say it like this, but the blue-collar individuals that are mostly adjusted with the Democratic Party and have been for 20, 30, 40 years, most of those people, they come from blue-collar backgrounds and include, things from the Army, multiple branches of military or whatever. My family is mostly military, so I know this. And they tend to be Democratic. A lot of people that, if they're low ranking in the military and they get out, they tend to be, a lot of times, end up being Democratic. If they're high ranking in the military, they tend out to be, a lot of times, Republican. A lot of people don't discuss that point, but it's true. Now, I've heard probably 7 to 8 commentaries in the total entire day today that had this fear-mongering tone with it, right? And the fear-mongering tone was this: oh my God, Trump's in the White House now, it's over. The world's gonna come to an end. We spent 4 years with this motherfucker before, and he didn't do nothing but give out checks. We spent 4 years just recently with Joe Biden and Koala Bear, and Koala Bear and them ain't do nothing but give money to everybody under the blue sun except for y'all. I'm gonna let y'all pause on that for a few minutes. What's going on, TKL? The federal stuff, that federal stuff killing me? I hear you. I just want weed to be actually legal. Well, I don't know. Up here in the tri-state it is. If I don't say nothing, you was going to say, if I don't say nothing, you The fuck? What? Motherfucker, get off my channel. You can't even write. If I don't say nothing. Yo, bro, they found the stash. Hop off live. I hear you talking, man. I'm not hopping off nothing. I don't do that. He thinks I'm one of those. No, I'm not one of those types of bloggers, man. I'm not one of those types of bloggers that I think he thinks I'm one of them type of bloggers. I'm not one of those type of bloggers that chases after stories, especially if you get the story. A lot of people here on YouTube, they always try to run when they see a flash of a story. I mean, it depends. If the story is like, it's got some detail to it at first, yeah, I'll get it if it's adequate enough. But if it ain't adequate enough and it's like loopholes missing, or it's like a video and there's a few seconds missing, now I want to know what the fuck missing. So no, I'm not gonna do that. Two things. Trump checks were him stealing that policy from leftists like gang. Search it up. On top of the reasons the Dems are so scared is because now Trump has all 3 levels of government. You bullshitting. Judicial, education. What's the other one? I love guys like you. Let me tell you something. One of the things that I've learned here online is that you have a lot of, I'm going to go back to it, not only unaccomplished white men, but you have a lot of uneducated white men that come on here. And these uneducated and unaccomplished men, as far as comparison to me any goddamn way, you better watch who you're talking to, sir. Like, you go right now, put my name in, and go over there to, what the hell is that shit called? I don't even use it that much, but always LinkedIn, that's the name of it. Go on over there and look at my resume real quick and then come back. And ask yourself, are you even qualified in the position to hire someone like me? Now continue. And start off, just remember I work for Bertelsmann Music Group. All right, let's start there. All right, I work for Bertelsmann Music Group. All right, so if you can't compare to Bertelsmann Music Group, please sit in the side. Thank you. And don't interrupt my live again, especially if you're not donating. Now, one of the things that I've seen now, and probably like 7 different broadcasts now, is I've seen leftists, if you want to say, have this propaganda train, and they're using a lot of times a lot of different minority groups. They're using a lot of different women specifically for some reason. So I can say anything. Oh, no, you can't. No, you can't. You can't say anything here, my friend. Let me hide him. Yeah, I don't like people like that. That's corny. And Larry, you gotta go. I don't know what's up with the weirdo emojis. I don't like grown men to throw emojis. You've got a whole propaganda train right now that's running. And what they do is they sit around and they kind of like promote that we should be fear-mongering because Trump is in office now. Now, I will say this. If Trump sits in, or it's Kamala that sits in, there's going to be a shitload of racists that want to come out for one reason or another. They would have came out if Kamala would have got elected, because they would have, the conversation, in my opinion, would have switched sooner or later. She's South-Indian. She's a Marxist. They would have switched it into that. So either way it goes, whoever the sitting president is on this round, they wouldn't have won. That's my opinion of it. Now, with Kamala, I think it would have been more fear-mongering than anything, and it would have been from the right at this point, because they would have kind of did the same thing. Oh, you need to watch out. And we saw this with Obama. But what's going on right now with the left, and I've seen, is they're using Black American women to kind of shame Black American men. And y'all gonna see what I'm talking about later on. I'm gonna throw it up. It's only partition of these Black American women. This is not all inclusive of all Black American women. I don't want all Black American women to get mad at me and get upset with me. Hey, do you work for, do you work for, again, I'm sorry, I'm just curious, sounds cool. Sorry about that. I don't understand what that means. If you accomplish, why do you, oh, shut the fuck up. Seriously. Listen, let me tell you this real quick. It is amazing. You either have to be a novice or never watch YouTube in your fucking life. But I love when I have these fake profiles of this little portly man that basically is a black white supremacist. Any black man or his subscribers that daily, every time that another man goes live and it is jealous the amount of people that's in that man's live, this is a black male white supremacist. And any other black male that partakes in this type of behavior, I'm gonna call you out too, because there's a lot of black males and women that are involved in this type of behavior. And I'm gonna segue into that at the latter part of this live. But I just want to speak on this particular person in here. Every fucking YouTuber and their mama asks for donations, okay? You do not control, you are not the overlord of YouTube. You don't control who donates on my page. If your broke, pathetic ass can't donate or you don't contribute, then shut the fuck up and stop writing shit in people's chat rooms. Why are you such a black white supremacist? Because I know that's somebody black doing it. Why are you such a black white supremacist that you hate your own? See, we have to ask questions about these motherfuckers. What type of black person runs around online, and I'm asking all races of people, what type of black person do you call a kiss ass that runs around online and tells people don't donate to somebody, or why are you asking for donations and all that? I'll tell whoever the fuck I want to hit my Cash App. You can't fucking shame me into some shit, especially if your favorite blogger is a motherfucker that sits in his kitchen or his bedroom every day and does lives, and you don't have no problem donating to them. You understand what I'm saying here? Especially if your favorite blogger is somebody that doesn't even have a quarter of the material I have on my page. So I'm gonna say to you, what's his name here? Chad Flimpster, that doesn't have a profile picture. Let's investigate you very quickly, sir. You've been on here for 1 year and you don't have any subscribers. You haven't quite set the world on fire, have you there, Sparky? So that means that that's a fake profile. I don't know where African Americans, white Americans, or whoever the fuck else gets off with the idea that we shouldn't be, they get to choose who gets donated to and who doesn't, and we get to choose who who supports you and all that shit. That's some real communist, Marxist, weirdo shit. You're not going to shame me with shit about that, all right? From day one on this channel, I've always busted my ass. Yesterday, I got up at 4:30 in the morning so I could be over Trump Tower. We had 33,000 people on this live before I ended it. You understand what I'm saying? So anybody that gets on here and says that your work shouldn't be commended or whatever is a pure D fucking hateful loser motherfucker. Especially this little fat portly man that for some reason this weirdo motherfucker for whatever reason has a hard on for me. Like this nigga, he went as far as to like subscribe to my channel. I was like, you're a weirdo, bro. You really need some help. I'm like, I'll get into that later. Back to the other weirdo people. We got rid of that guy. And guys, make sure you do hit up the Cash App. $STRINGERBELL80. Yeah, because it's getting annoying at this point. It's like, who the fuck are you to come to somebody else's channel and say who gets donated to and who doesn't get donated to? Or why are you asking for donations? And then what I find is it's only the urban crowd that does this. Like, we're talking about people that grew up with free lunch tickets and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like grew up poor, and now that they're 18 or 19 years old, they want to act like they've always been on top of the world. No, the fuck you haven't. And you know how I know? Because you didn't live around us. Now figure that shit out. I can sniff out one of these brown-nosing, shoe-shining motherfuckers from a mile away. Trust me. They all have the same caricatures. They all sit around, they'll sniff under somebody's ass or whatever and then try to fit in. It doesn't matter if they're fucking whatever they are. You understand what I'm saying? I know a brown nose and an ass kisser when I see one. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, we don't pay attention to people like that because usually they're unaccomplished losers and don't have shit going on. So when somebody comes in my chat room and says shit like that or whatever, I'm like, I look at their channel. That's the first thing I do. And I say, oh, okay, you're just a cocksucker that likes to talk a lot. I don't do talking. See, with us, and while I grew up, you got to prove the shit that you're projecting. So if you're projecting that you're the shit, okay, well, where's the shit that comes along with the guy that projects he's the shit? Right here, guys. Let me give you a peep of one of our residential cocksuckers we got right here. What does this say? And most popular people online be asking for donations still. And they say that to tear down selectively. Celeste, don't stop your grind. Oh my God, I'm so glad you wrote that. Look at the comment right there. The guy says, wicked bastard. He says, the most popular people online ask for donations still. And they say they want to tear down selectively. Success don't stop your grind. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I've been to, like, I've had people coming to me. I'm talking to Wicked, I think that's what your name is. I've had people come to me with clips of people in their paywall, behind their paywalls, telling people, oh, and this person's that, and this person's that. No, this person is more fucking successful than you've ever been and ever will be. The dynamic in which I started in when I came into the music business, it doesn't exist anymore. You can't even come in through that palette anymore. So it occurs to me that not only with this Trump thing, with the fear-mongering, with that, but also just even with myself, like, it's this fear-mongering like narrative that people put out here or whatever to try to cancel people. I guess that's the objective. I'm going to cancel you, but the way the urban crowd is doing it, they're being navigated by these wicked fucking women. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, women that are like, no offense to anybody, but some black women, they are some of the most evil, benign, this nasty bitches you will ever meet in your life. A lot of women are like that, but a lot of black American women have become evil as shit. And I was watching when I was in, because a lot of these guys that do these type of little things or whatever, they're behind their paywalls, they have a whole bunch of female, that's what I find, they always have a bunch of female supporters and female listeners. And like, you'll listen to some of these girls and the way they talk, and it's just like, it's fucking disgusting. Like, I told you about this one, give me a second, guys. I told you about this one vlogger named TT. She's a minority girl. This girl was on her channel. Puff's birthday was the other day, and the little girl, she's got to be like maybe 4 years old, maybe 3 years old or something. She's sitting up there making fun of the little girl. Your dad's in jail. Who says this on camera about a little girl? You get what I'm saying? So, like, that to me, that's an evil bitch. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. If you make fun of a 4-year-old kid that misses their dad, I don't give a fuck what he did. Who the fuck are you? When did you become judge and jury? You understand? And so we have a lot of people in society based off whether it's social media, based off of this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the people's bullshit positions sometimes or whatever. They come into these chat rooms or they come into spaces and they just try to act like they're navigating something. I'm like, what are you navigating? Your fucking imagination? Like, you'd be surprised how society has switched. We've got everybody out here, and that's why I said maybe it's a good thing Trump is coming back into office, because that way people can get out of this disillusion shit, a delusional world that they're living in here on what's the name. So, listen, man, be careful out here, and you're gonna start seeing what I'm talking about. In the next few days, you're gonna see more and more women. I've already ran across about 6 or 7 videos. I think I'm gonna post them too, of women talking about, hey, it's black men's fault that Kamala won. I can't believe you, like shaming tactics. I'm like, so you're telling me I don't have the right to fucking vote for who I want to vote for? Is that what you're telling us? That sounds communist to me. You understand? So it goes back to what I was saying to you guys initially, that I noticed as a graduate or somebody that went to college, whatever, you got to start paying attention, because I did, that a lot of this shit that these girls learn in college and collegiate environments or whatever is really, depending on the collegiate institution that you go to, a lot of it is wrapped in communism, a lot of it is wrapped in Marxism, a lot of it is wrapped in socialism. I'm telling you. When women do it, it's uplifting. When men do it, it's hate speech. Yeah, I've noticed that too. That's why one of the reasons I don't mess with TikTok. I notice on TikTok, as a woman, you can go on there and you can literally just like smash into oblivion any man that you want to, right? But if you go on TikTok and you do the exact opposite and say you get on there and you start like, damn, you get on TikTok and you start bashing women, then you're gonna have a problem. They're gonna get rid of your account within a day or two. You're never gonna be back allowed on the platform maybe or whatever. And you gotta keep in measure, this company is not even existent, ByteDance, they're not even in existence in the United States. They're existence in China right now. That's the problem. So, you know, I get what you're saying, and it's the truth. Like, you know, some of these apps are allowing women to say whatever they want. Like, you can jump online right now and be like, you know what, I hate all these men out here. They suck. Aren't they terrible? We should get rid of all of them. I've heard a woman get on here before and say we should castrate men just for being men. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's some crazy shit. And the deeper you go into TikTok, I call it the dark end of TikTok, the worse it gets. You know, so I'm not a TikTok fan. I don't mess with TikTok like that. Another one I say is they got a lot of dark shit on here nowadays. Is this app I'm using right now, YouTube. Oh my God, the shit you see here on YouTube is crazy. I'm like, you let people post this? Like, so, you know, regardless of what app you go to, you're gonna have some issues. I swear, it's got to be something from FBI to shift the black consciousness to foolery. Like all the black media is straight mean. Okay, so I'm glad you guys are starting to realize that. Like I said this, oh God, the first time I said it probably was a year and a half ago. And I came under fire for so many people. They were like, no, that's not the truth. No, that's not the truth. We should all uplift. We should all stand behind each other just based off race alone, da, 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 da. And I said, no, that's not the case. If you pay attention to a lot of these urban media outlets, the only thing they do is bash their own, you know? And it seems like the women, they take pride in it. You understand? And then, like, when you get minority men, most of the black and Latin men, they don't have any balls to stick together, or they have a pattern of what they want to stick with. And usually it embraces them brown nosing, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have, like, something's mentally wrong with you. And I say this from working at BMG, working at Arista, working at Interscope. I went through all three of those distributors from my former employee. One thing I noticed was the minority workers in there, they have a big up to, especially the men, about their ego. You know, they want to be seen as, I'm the man of this building. Don't nobody watch this building like me. I'm Tom, you know. And so, y'all know what I'm talking about. That's why y'all write shit in the chat. I'm Tom. Ain't nobody going to watch this building like me. I watch this building for Mr. Charlie, don't you know? And some people, they're comfortable with that. You know, they don't exert themselves to have more in life. And that's what it is. And they expect you to have those same lower ambitions. So what you have to do is you have to watch for people like that. I learned a long time ago, when you start getting older, you'll start realizing that some people ain't meant for you to be around for the rest of your life, you know? Some people are on a trajectory where they're gonna stay on that same trajectory for the rest of their fucking life, and there's nothing you can do to change it, you know? So some people are just born and destined to be slaves, mentally and physically. And then there's some of us that weren't. You know what I'm saying? Kareem Smith cracking up. Yeah, it's hella dark these days. I hate TikTok too, LaSmooch. She said the same thing. She said, I hate TikTok. I don't like TikTok. I told a story before, and people noticed. I put up a video that was the same one I uploaded on here. And the video on here only did like 3,000, maybe 4,000 views. I put it on TikTok, and within 2 days, it had 100,000 views, right? Then they did something, they went over it, and they marked the video and said that I couldn't watch it anymore, or like it wasn't available or anything like that. And what I found out was it was the censorship laws of China, because it's a Chinese-ran app. So I was like, oh shit, really? So that's why I say for me, the type of videos I do, they don't fit on TikTok. But if you're on TikTok and you're male bashing shit, that's a spot for you. So it goes contention. I'm saying, okay, was it the Chinese government, do they embrace male bashing or some shit? Yes, they do. There's a whole thing that goes on over there with that. I can't get into it over here because, you know, for various reasons they might, you know, feel offended. But yeah, it's something with that, you know. So yeah, I will say that TikTok is definitely a male bashing outlet. So all misandrists, rejoice. There's a place for you right there on TikTok. All right, take your hate mongering over there. I'm just tired of the whole woke hate mongering, fear mongering crap. I hope Trump transitions that, or at least the vibe of it. I think if we would have had 4 more years with Kamala under that administration, I think it would have got worse. And I don't think it's a good direction. I think there's a place. You guys, excuse me, it's getting a little windy out here, so I'm gonna kill this in a minute. I think there's a place for woke situations. Is that cool? I think there's a place for woke dialogues. I think there's a place for woke conversations. Do I think they necessarily belong on social media? No, I don't. And I'm gonna tell you why. And I take this palette from something I saw in Australia. Australia is getting ready to outlaw the internet to its citizens that are under 16 years old. Did you know this? And I think it's one of the best ideas ever. I'll say it for you again. Australia is about to outlaw usage of the internet to kids under 16. And I think that's what needs to go on here. And I'm going to tell you why I think that's what needs to go on here. You have a partition of kids that are growing up that the only thing they know is the internet. They only know the internet. They only know interaction via the internet. And I think you miss out on childhood, in my opinion. You miss out on childhood if you disutilize all your interaction with just solely the internet and the internet alone. You don't have any personality. You, in the future, say 5 to 10 years, you're going to be so barren of any type of emotion that you're not going to really be able to adapt in a working environment where you have to work with people. And so, and even that's being surmised. I mean, with the pandemic happening and everybody working remote, I mean, hell, I work remote. So, what the hell am I going to say? But it's just like coming from that environment or whatever. It seems like nowadays, like a lot of people, they're just like either personal or they either have like one little goofy friend or whatever. You know what I'm saying, guys? So I don't like to sit around and like pretend with people or have false conversations with people or anything like that. And I think there's some vehicles that a lot of these apps allow nowadays. They allow people to pretend that there's something that they're not. And then another thing that I saw from a psychological point is, and this is just my own little personal psychoanalysis, a lot of people take the personality that they have on YouTube or on the social media apps and they try to adapt them into society. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, okay, well, I'm open and I'm like this on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, so I can act like that in public. No, the fuck you can't. All right? And that's as plain as I can say it. I'm sorry for cursing if you're offended by cursing, but it's the fucking truth. You cannot take your personality that you have on social media and try to adapt it into a social setting. It's not going to work. Sooner or later, you're going to find that those inhibitions that you have in your speaking voice or whatever the case may be online, so because a lot of people don't have any inhibition online. They just say whatever the fuck they want to. That's not going to work offline. And I've got to start being more careful myself when I'm in political situations, obviously, or going live. I think I'm going to start on some of the locations. I'm going to start just filming and like, I'll just take it and upload it. You know what I'm saying? Because yesterday that put me in a kind of a pickle when I was up there at Trump Tower, and I didn't like that. I didn't like having to be in a situation where I have to choose between, okay, the longevity of my career versus somebody calling me out of my name and me knowing physically I could do something to them. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what, I'm going to take the higher road here. I'm going to stay here in this area where I need to be or whatever. But as a man, I'm going to tell you this. If I feel my life is in danger, if I feel that you are following me from off this app based on the location that I'm at, I'm going to drop you. Okay? And you can take that however you want to. And to any police officer listening, I want you to know that I have this on video and this is how this happened. You cannot have people out here menacing people. And that's what a lot of people are doing out here as a measure of however they feel or whatever the heck else. And so I now know that I have people that are trying to, do whatever they're doing or whatever. And I'm telling you, you're gonna show up at the wrong time. Yesterday I was by myself. I'll go live somewhere else and see if you show up there. Let's see if you show up there. You know what I mean? You're gonna be quite surprised. Now, a lot of you guys have been with me for a long time, like let's say 2 years or whatever, you guys know that I got some friends that are some pretty big fucking guys. I'm the smallest guy of all the guys I hang out with. The guys I hang out with, if you've seen me on camera several times or whatever, you've noticed one thing, all of them are pretty fucking huge, right? And so, I'm probably not the guy you want to do that with. But, everybody's going to have a challenge they want to take upon themselves, and be remembered in YouTube history. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not the guy to do that with. So I don't like people taking how they feel politically, taking what I say on camera as a personal trope to, follow me online. That's not working for me. You understand what I'm saying? So let's cut that out. If you disagree with me, you got the right to disagree with me. I also got the right to block you and never see your fucking ass again. Take it as that. Don't take it as, oh, he blocked me. Now I'm going to go follow him up there where he's at. I'm telling you what I'm telling you here. All right. I've done a lot of things early on in my life, things I'm not proud of. Many people in the state know that, you know what I mean? And I paid the price for them, you know? So I'm telling you, somebody that doesn't care about what happens to you, because I don't know you, it'd probably be the best offer that not show up where people are when they're filming, you know? Just because you see me going live. That's ridiculous. It's kind of neurotic. It's kind of crazy. And I think that you have to be some type of weirdo to do something like that. So listen, I don't have no personal problems with nobody. You want to blog, you want to do whatever you want to do, you'll pose my opinion, please be my guest. But don't show up where the fuck I'm at. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be that one time, and I'm telling you, you're going to be quite surprised. You know what I mean? If you get my drift here. So let's not do that. Let's be friendly. Let's be honorable. And I will say this last before I leave out of here. Ladies, and I say this from the bottom of my heart. I've got black female cousins. I've got a black mother. I've got black aunts, etc., etc., etc. It pains me to see you ladies online pandering to these different groups, especially the Democratic Party, and show your, I guess, I don't know what you want to call it, your disdain for us not selecting who you felt was the perfect candidate for you, which was Kamala Harris, I'm assuming, based on the frustration. I want to say from the bottom of my heart, any woman that thinks like that, fuck you and fuck everybody that lives in your house. You should be ashamed of yourself. You got uncles that are black. You got fathers black. You know, the same excuses they use with others. Well, your mama black, well, your daddy's black too, bitch. Huh? And I see these women online, and I've seen it, there's white women online doing it, there's Latin women online doing it, there's black women online doing it. So I ain't gonna just surmise it to anybody, but there are women online right now. It's your fault they're not coming out for Kamala. Listen, from the bottom of my heart, once again, I said it yesterday up at Trump Tower, in the place. Fuck Kamala Harris. Any woman that sat up there and pretended, look, she made a fool out of you bitches. This woman pretended. Now I'm gonna speak to y'all straight. So I saw one or two of y'all hop off, so let's speak to you straight, since y'all don't understand when motherfuckers speak to you nice. Y'all had this bitch go from barbershop to barbershop across America, sitting up there talking about, hey, you know, the reason you should vote for me is because I'm the perfect candidate, and I'm black, and I went to a black university, and that. I'm like, okay, first of all, we got to get you the fuck out of here, because you up here lying to us, because I can look right in your fucking face and tell you ain't got a drop of fucking black in you. You understand what I'm saying? And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But at the utmost and the frontmost of her appearance, she doesn't look that way. You understand what I'm saying? I'm black and Cuban American. You have Latinos who walk up to me all the fucking time and start speaking Spanish. You understand what I'm saying? So y'all see this on camera. I don't have to make that shit up. Yo solo grito ahí, tú sabes, claro que sí, right? So I don't have to do that shit. This bitch, she goes in front of multiple, every person she got in front of, she had a different accent from. She got in front of the people up there in Canada. She was like in a union walker, you know, a union walker. She got in front of black folks down in Atlanta. Oh, you know, that's sure enough right. She got in front of Latinos. Oh, and you know some, oh, my gente. Like, this bitch had an accent for everybody. Everybody. And I'm supposed to sit back and ignore this shit like I'm a motherfucking retard. No, I'm not going to do that. And that's what made her lose. You couple that along with the sounding like Quagmire every fucking hour. Everything she did, she will follow it back like Quagmire from motherfucker. Y'all remember Quagmire from Family Guy? Giggity, giggity, giggity. Every time she would say something, giggity, giggity, giggity. I was like, who is this, Quagmire? Y'all want me to take Quagmire serious? This is Quagmire from, come on. Nobody caught that up. Listen, let me tell you guys something before I get up out of here. I always say this. Never, ever, ever take anybody too serious. There's always keying, he, and ha, all the time. People that do that, or whatever the case may be, people that do that all the time, there's a problem with them. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I watch this one particular female vlogger, and I notice that she always does that all the time. A he sounds just like Quagmire. Giggity, giggity, giggity. I don't take people like that. Like, it's times and times we can joke and muscle. If you're with somebody personally, you could joke and muscle. But if you're in front of a national audience and your answer to everything is giggity, 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 like Quagmire, I'm like, I'm not, no, 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 nah, nah. So I said it yesterday, and I said it, and that's why I said I wanted to speak it to right to the spot. That's why I went in front of Trump Tower and did it. And shout out to all 33,000 of y'all that was in here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Shit. But from the bottom of my heart, I said it yesterday. Fuck Kamala Harris. Plain simple. Fuck Kamala Harris. You're not gonna sit up here and have an accent for everybody you speak in front of because you're trying to grab a voting demographic. That's ridiculous. I have never seen anybody do that in my life. I saw Trump go from spot to spot. He didn't fake no accents. I saw Clinton go from spot to spot. He didn't fake no accent. I saw George Bush go from spot to spot. He didn't fake no accents. I saw president. I'm an older motherfucker now. I done seen president after president at this point, and I never saw any of them go to a different campaign or a campaign rally and fake an accent for whoever they was in front of. And I think it's a goddamn shame that women are sitting out here and they're shaming men because we didn't want to back this broad. You're not going to shame my vote or shame my decision or shame who it's not going to happen. And so I think this whole women power shit is getting a little bit out of hand. And that's what I said with the woke shit. I hope the woke stuff, like I said, I hope the woke movements, I think it's got I talk about this shit all the time. I talked about it yesterday when I was up in Trump Tower with you guys. It's the woke movement has its place. I think there should be protections for certain people or whatever, and then I think it's abused. I think you got situations where you got people that can go and start things or do certain types of acts or whatever, and then they fall back on, I'm a victim. How the fuck are you a victim? You know, and so when you get people that cushion time after time after time after time to fall out on, they get real weak. When you give women, and I'm saying women because it seems like women, and in this particular point, I'm talking about black and Latin women. How dare you bitches that are a part of that? How dare you bitches get online and sit there and try to shame us because we didn't want to go along with what the fuck you wanted to go along with? But if had it been you and you wanted to go and we wanted y'all to go along with something with us, you would never do it. You understand what I'm saying? So remember that as the premise behind why you didn't have so many men back you, because any other time we would have backed you. But it just really pains my heart, and now I see where we are nowadays as far as our relationship with black American women. It seems like many of y'all are just actresses. You understand what I'm saying? And nobody likes a fucking actress. These women, I'll give you an example. When Barack Obama was running, I remember this time. And this is, what was it, 2007, 2008 or something like that? I remember everybody was on the core, everybody was online, everybody was like, yo, we're going to vote for Barack Obama. We're going to get him in there, whatever. We had the assistance of Beyonce, we had the assistance of Rihanna, and a couple other people. We got them elected in there, right? Remember that? Fast forward, I honestly and truthfully think instead of running Koala Bear, they would have better off and probably had a better chance if they ran Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama don't want to run. She don't want the job. So, all right, cool. The point I'm getting at is, now listen to this. The point I'm getting at is here, and it might be hard for y'all, a lot of y'all to see this or whatever the case may be is, but y'all wasn't on board. This time, basically, y'all were fast feeding to us or spoon feeding us. Either you vote for Kamala and side with us, or it's over. As far as our consideration of you, our respect of you, or whatever. So what I'm predicting is, I think in the next coming weeks, all the way up until the day he gets inaugurated for the second time now, number 47, now known as Trump, they're going to have a whole bunch of women that are going to sit back and they continuously go, and listen, it's only exempt nobody. I've seen white women doing this to white men. I've seen black women doing this to black men. I've seen Latin women doing this to Latin men. We all a demographic when it comes to gender. I tell men that shit all the time. You can be different as you want to. Go in the bathroom. That's when we all the fucking same. Go to the hospital. That's when the fuck we all the same. Go to the funeral home. We all the fucking same. Get a disease. We all the fucking same. Get what I'm saying here? So, with me being saying that, you ladies got to realize something too. To black and Latin women, especially the type that feel that you have the brown nose and kiss that. And you know what? I'm going to go into all minority women because I've now been watching vlogs now where Asian men, and I didn't realize what they were going through. You know, Asian women are not even marrying Asian men. And Indian women or Middle Eastern women are not marrying, or their men are not marrying their counterparts at a high measure anymore either. And I think a lot of it has to do with financially and placement. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's, you know, I got a cousin who went to Japan before, and they were telling me about the worshiping they do of European culture over there, from skin bleaching to, you know, a high emphasis the men have on white American women and shit. It's like, it's weird, the worshiping that goes on, you know what I'm saying, behind that. And I think white folks should even find that shit weird. I've been around Italians and Greeks my whole goddamn life, and I ain't never been obsessive. Like, I want to be just like you. I think most of my friends would fucking laugh at me if I said some shit like that, to be kind of honest with you. You know what I'm saying? So when I get minorities that do that type of shit, it's usually because they're coming from a low elk. They come from poverty, they come from uneducated households, they come from households where they're trying to fit in, or where their family members have told them, go over there and kiss ass with white folks, they're going to accept you. No, you're going to be a fucking servant. Aptly put where you're placed. That's what's going to happen. And so I think a lot of these chicks, they feel like since they've taken the position of servitude, that we also should too. And I'm here to tell you, I'm not at anybody's service. If you want to serve Kamala Harris and her agenda, you have more than the right to do it, but just don't sit there and, like, I mean, it's really gotten to the point where I was online today and I saw people unfollowing people because they didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I'm like, you known this person for fucking 10, 15 years, and now your vote comes down to, and what's subjective is to the fact of who voted for who. What kind of weird shit is that? You know, nobody else thinks of it like that? I do, you know, so I just had that to say. That's it. All right, guys. Like I said, I don't sit here too long or whatever. I just wanted to give a little rant about that. I thought it was just imperative to talk about that shit, because I'm like, wait, you really got people out here that are mad because certain men didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I'm not voting for Koala Bear. For what? And ain't no chick gonna sit there and tell me, oh, shame me. That shaming tactics and that whole cancel culture shit, I hope Trump ends that shit. I hope the vibration ends that shit, because it's a crutch. You know, it's a crutch. And so, you know, you got these women out here just telling men, if you didn't vote for Kamala Harris, don't speak to me, I'm unfollowing you or whatever, for a chick that basically made a caricature of who you are. Like, this, all thing you got to do is go watch that video from Atlanta. It'll let you know everything you need to know when she was down there speaking to the folks down there in Atlanta. Only thing you got to do is go watch the video when she was speaking to the folks up there in Canada. Are you Union Walker? I said, did this bitch just go into full jive mode? I said, oh, it's over. And I said that. I said it was over. Smiley J said thumbs up. I mean, it was over. You know, like, it was over before it's finished. And like I said, they would have ran Michelle Obama, they probably would have stood a chance. But they ran this cackling, bubbling, goofy, pretending to be a black female, and basically made a mockery. This woman just made a mockery of you guys. And now you guys are upset because she didn't win. So you take your frustration out on black men? So how long is this run gonna roll for? You know, I'm thinking about the thing I was telling one of my boys. He's a pretty popular vlogger on here. I said, maybe we need to start having a countermeasure and start doing some of the propaganda campaigns that these girls do on the men out here. Maybe we should start doing our own batch of them. Yeah, I think that's what we need to do. Because the point when you get with some broads are coming on, I want to be the top mammy on the plantation. That's really what it boiled down to. You're taking up for a black, a South Indian woman that made a caricature of you, and you take it out on your own men. What kind of sense does that make? So ladies, before you go to somebody, or before you make the next post talking about, yo, I hate men, yay, misandrous, please think about that. And know that some of us out here, we love you as a person. We even protect you as a person, but we're not loving what you're doing, you know? And to all the goofy women that come over here to my page and tell people don't donate to me, don't support my channel, whatever, the waywards and everything else, honestly and truthfully, from the bottom of my heart, go fuck yourself. You're some of the most miserable people I've ever seen in my life. And maybe that's behind partition of the reason why you're seeing some of these, I don't know, these miserable columnists that are part of media right now that are running this whole campaign or whatever. Or, you know, you didn't vote for Kamala Harris and you're a black man. We hate you now. Well, okay, if you hate me, remember you hate me when you're getting attacked at 3 o'clock in the morning. Remember, you hate me. Good luck. I'll talk to you guys later.